Something that I used to be upset about, when I was younger, was the difference between my relationship with my mom and my brother's relationship with my mom. And the reason why I would be upset, like nowadays, I'm grateful, um, that my brother was able to have it a little easier than me, so that he didn't have to go through the same things as I. I realize that now, but when I was younger, I used to be so upset because I used to wonder why I had to go through all the hardships, and always had to do all these extra things, and I couldn't really be like a kid as much as he was able to be a kid, and that's why I used to just always uh look after him and everything like that. Um, but I used to not be able to be the kid I wanted to be. Um, but he was able to, and he had his father in his life too. And I used to be upset, because I didn't really have my father in my life. And then I used to be upset too, because he had an older brother, and I didn't have an older brother to guide me in all these different things. So I used to be upset at that. And since he was younger, uh, he got more things that I wish I was able to get. I used to be envious when I was younger. Um, and I was more so envious with kind of the way how our family treat each other. Oh, yeah, I remember when we were younger, he used to get a lot of love when we were younger, and that used to bother me because I didn't really get that much love. But my aunt used to give me a lot of love, and then that made me feel better. But what I used to be upset about was him being able to be a kid, but I wasn't really able to be the kid. And that was something that just was pretty much ongoing throughout our life and childhood because I would often have to do all the chores. I would often have to, go to these family gatherings. I often had to go with my mom to deal with issues within the family. If people are having issues or whatever, I would often have to go with that. I would often have all this pressure on me being having to learn all these skills and having to do all these things and learn how to be a handyman and learn how to do this, and so much pressure on me. There was a lot of pressure on me. And it used to bother me because I would have immense pressure on me, and so many of the adults would just throw all this pressure on me, and he was able to just chill and just relax and everything like that. And I didn't really wasn't really all that bothered by that, to be completely honest. It was more so when he was starting to not be as reliable in certain areas, but I would always have to have the pressure of having all this stuff on me. That's when I used to be but why not? Why can't why can't we switch and take turns? Why can't he do this? I've been doing it so much. Why can't he do it? But they'll just be like, no, 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 and or make up an excuse, and I would end up having to do it still. And since I'm kind, I would just end up doing it anyway. Or depending on the situation, boundaries, I have no say, so I had to just do it anyway. So, um, certain situations, I had to go through a lot of pressure, and you know, I usually just end up just going with it because you really have no choice, and you just don't, you want to avoid conflict and avoid, getting in trouble, or avoid, I used to get punishment a lot when, if I didn't do the right thing, and I didn't really like that. I didn't like just being in the room staring at the wall. So, or not being able to go outside because I like to go outside and be with friends and stuff like that. So I used to just it got to a point, I think middle school, I would just, whatever you want, I'll just do it, whatever. Because for me, I always was a very vocal person since I was a child. I would just say what I want to say and just express my emotions and express how I actually feel. And I had a presence that was like an adult. I had adult presence at a very young age, and I would just say what I wanted to say, and I would end up calling people out and all these different things, not realizing I would just say what I feel is the right thing to say. But a lot of the people in my family cannot handle that. They cannot handle someone calling them out because they they didn't address certain aspects of themselves. They didn't want to they want to hide certain aspects of themselves or act like certain aspects aren't true or whatever. So I used to get in trouble for that a lot. And then me talking back and having an opinion, that used to, in like middle school, I used to get grounded for that. And it got to the point where I started becoming an introvert because I used to be extroverted. I was more so an ambivert, but I used to be extroverted because I like to just express myself and just be myself and everything like that. But as I kept getting in trouble all the fucking time, and it was annoying, so I had to make compromises to just go with it. I ended up going with whatever, just whatever happens, just going with it. And that sacrificed a lot of my self and everything like that. And I'm noticing being with my grandmother, my father's mother, as a 25-year-old over here, I'm realizing that like now that like I'm way more mature, I'm just seeing these patterns still even on this side of the family, and just seeing how like narcissistic she is, and just seeing how she doesn't act like I have my own perspective and my own identity, and just looking into her patterns and just analyzing her patterns and just seeing how she treats me and the consistency, and just seeing, because I'm able to I can just see your intentions, and I can see how you actually feel and what you're trying to achieve, or all these different things. I can just tell because we put our intentions out there. People don't realize that, but we do put our intentions out there with the way how we behave. So, your actions, the things you say, everything like that is like a testimony. People don't understand this stuff, but yeah, especially when you're narcissistic, because you tend to project yourself on the others, and you tend to not appreciate their perspective. You only care about your own perspective. These are just things I picked up on. But back to what I was going with is yeah, I used to just have to do so much stuff, and I remember like I used to want to get into sports and everything like that, and all these different things, but my mom would like always want me to go to work and all these different things, because she's like, I worked and I did this and I did that, but she wasn't like, okay, I did all these things, I worked young and I had to take care of my siblings young and all these different things. You deserve to be able to be a kid and just do what you want to do. If you want to do sports, you want to run track, you want to play football, wrestling, this, that, whatever, do it. But no, I didn't really get that because my mom always wanted me to like work, and then like the other family members wanted me to work too. But something that I'm realizing now, like when it comes to the way they treat me in the past, and them not really having my brother do those things as well, because as we got older, like they wouldn't really like, they'll just let my brother just, if he just wants to be at the house, he doesn't want to do anything, he doesn't want to see his family member, he doesn't want to help or whatever, that's fine. But for me, I didn't have a choice. And I used to just be so confused. I used to just wonder why. Like, why can't I? Like, why is my perspective not taken accounted for? Why do you not realize that I want to, like, do my own things or whatever? But it would always either be, oh, I work all the time, or this or that, or, some kind of excuse. But what I realized is the reason why is because my mom never really had, like, a responsible, like, male in her life, right? And she didn't really have a relationship with a responsible male. My stepdad is far more responsible than my dad, but he's not as responsible as I am in a sense, or reliable as I am. The only thing with me is just I was just young and I just didn't have money like that. But I was always responsible and reliable, and I was always people were able to count on me. So like I feel like my mom just viewed me as like a man when I was like very young. So she kind of like just ignored school, ignored this and that or whatever, or not school. I wasn't really good at school. I didn't care about it, but not school. I meant like activities, like doing things that I wanted to do. I'm in high school, like, okay, I want to join the track team so I can be with my friends and challenge myself and all these different things and make myself feel counted, feel accomplished, and and do something that can make me happy. But it was just work and money and this and that, because she felt so like she can rely on me. So she felt like it was I should have to work and all these different things. So that's just always been like a thing between us because she always viewed me more as like a man, um, rather than like, a kid. So, obviously she'll view me as a kid when it comes to like me doing certain things, like so because she doesn't want me doing certain things. But when it comes to like responsibility, I was always viewed as a man. I didn't really realize it because I'm just thinking of myself as like a teenager, but or like a young adult or whatever. But yeah, I didn't really realize that I had like that immense amount of pressure on me to be like this man or whatever. Like when I was little, I always wanted to be like a man, but I always still wanted to like live my life. I feel like I only wanted that because there was like no man in my family, but like it was like a lot of it was a pretty huge burden to have to take on the responsibility of those that aren't doing their part, and have all that shit thrown on you when you're so young. I remember I had a conversation with my brother's friend Jimmy. You know, Jimmy, isn't your last name McDonald? I think it's McDonald. I could be wrong, but I think it's Jimmy McDonald. But I remember we had a conversation like in 2021. I was just like, oh yeah, I was walking at night, and he was walking at night, or not, or he was jogging, and then we were talking, and he was talking about I was just talking about like how I felt and everything like that because I was just like really like down, and like he was telling me like how like his childhood was and everything like that. He was like only child and all these different things, and he was telling me about like all these responsibilities he had to go through when he was little. Like he had to like be like because he had to be like pretty much like take the responsibility as a man as like at such a young age and do all this shit at such a young age when he didn't really get to be like a child. And he just had to just take on all these responsibilities, and I was able to understand that. And then it made sense to me the why like he kind of like him and like his other friend Hamid like kind of like were like drawn to me a little more than my brother because we were able to because we've been through certain situations where we had all these responsibilities on us and all these hardships on us at such a young age, and that's what make us so like hungry and so like determined, and what makes us so good at what we do, because we had to like go through all this shit so young, and we really had no fucking choice. You just had to go with it. You go with it, or you really have no choice. You just have to do it. And like Hamid stories like in Africa and stuff like that, you know. That's why I feel like we all felt so connected because of our hardships. And like my brother, like, because he didn't really have hardships, he was more on the lazier side, more on the lackadaisical side, because he didn't really have these circumstances to where he had, like, you have to, like, if you don't do this shit, like, you don't even want to know. Like, you, like, you have to. Like, if you want to, like, have peace of mind, you got to do it. So, like, that's something that I noticed, like, when it comes to, like, certain people's mindsets and how they handle certain situations, it really depends on your mindset. I meant on your circumstances and your background. I feel like that's why, like, with my siblings, I love my siblings, but I feel like they can't understand me a bit with certain situations, like, with how I handle, like, adversity, stuff like that. It's because I had, like, a lot on me, and they had a lot on them, too. But I feel like for me, I was just pressured to do stuff that I didn't want to do, to where I just could just handle whatever, because I always had to do shit I did not really want to do, and I had no say. So I would just appreciate whatever I can get, and I would just handle, just the pain or whatever. And, if you get yelled at, it's whatever. You get scolded, it's whatever. People come crazy at you, it's whatever. Dealt with a lot of like negativity and all these different kind of things. And you just, it's life. You just handle it and you just keep going with it. But yeah, I used to be upset because like, I really wanted to be able to just be like a kid, and just be able to just, have fun And I'm so grateful for like my grandfather and my father's father, because him and my grandmother, they provided us, me and my cousins, with like chances to be kids. And he would do stuff with us, and take us on vacations, and do like fun stuff with us and everything like that, and encourage us to be kids. So that was really fun, because on my side of the family, it was just like, okay, you're a man, so you gotta do man shit. Like, it's just like a lot of like, it was just like a lot of like responsibility, like to do like a lot, like, and like I said, you literally have no choice. And it used to like piss me off, like when like I would have to do shit, and then like some people just would just chill around, and like you got this like young kid just doing whatever. I mean, just doing all these chores and just doing all these things, and he can't spend time with these people because he has to do all these chores that's not even his chores. It was a lot. Like for me, like growing up, I had to like, for me, like I think like doing chores was kind of like me, like it was kind of like rent, like doing like the house chores and stuff like that. But it's the way how my mom was raised as well. My mom wasn't raised correctly, so you know we inherit each other's problems and stuff like that. And with the guidance we have, we try to figure life out. And that's something that like I really think is important, to take time to understand your families and everything like that. Like, yeah, your situation may not be ideal. Yeah, it may not have been fun and everything like that, but you also have to understand that, like, even though like all these things happen, like it was always love at the end of the day. It was always love and everything like that. It's just that we just didn't know how to raise and treat each other, and we were so focused on ourselves. So I always understood that, because I was always able to kind of understand where these things come from and why this happens. And that's another reason why I was able to just be like, okay, I'll just do it, because I'm able to just see why this is happening, or whatever, like kind of like the gist of it, you know what I mean? When I got a little older, I was able to understand things a little deeper, and my mom was pretty transparent with me about her issues and everything like that. So like, I was just able to just be like, okay, whatever, and just go with it, because I care. But it just sucks when people kind of don't understand your perspective, like my perspective, and they put so much on you. Like for me, I think I'm the only one out of my siblings whose story isn't really known. Like I think my mom really knows, like like my sister's story and like my brother's hardships, but like no one really knows mine. And I don't know, like I don't think any of my family, yeah, no one knows. I don't think anyone knows. I don't think I've ever really talked about any of this stuff. I think like a little bit like in music, but not really. Like in music, it's just like love stuff and stuff like that. But like I don't know. I feel emotional talking about it, surprisingly. So that means that I have to get it out eventually, right? So I can heal. But like for me, like it doesn't really like, I guess like I'm not really like phased by it or anything. I feel like it's just more so like what's making me emotional is just feeling appreciated for the things I've done, and for all like the hardships and everything like that. Because I never really felt appreciated. So I guess that's my thing. It's less about like going through these things, because I don't really care that much, because it is what it is, and it made me a better person and stronger and everything like that. And it's okay. But I guess for me, it's just because I'm someone who really operates off love. I guess it's just not getting that appreciation and those apologies. My mom apologized for things, so I'm grateful for that. But like, I guess more so like, just being like, thank you, for the things you done and all these different things, and like just listening to my story. It used to suck when like I was trying to tell my mom like my feelings, but then she would just like yell at me and shit, and get mad at me and shit for telling my side of the story. Because something I noticed is, if you don't talk, like if you keep bottling your emotions in, your stories in, and your perspective in, people are not going to want to hear your perspective, right? Because they're so used to not hearing it. So when you finally start saying things, either it never happened, or they yeah either it never happened, or they just don't like it just never happened, or they just don't want to hear it. So, or it's not that bad. Like it really sucks. Like I remember, like I used to like, yeah, I guess I'll talk about some of this stuff. Like I used to like whenever my mom and like my stepdad would like sit, like have me like talk with them and everything like that, like about like my perspective, like even my grandma does it too. Like my grandma did it like recently, and I'm just like, just don't want to talk, because all you're gonna do is just like you're just gonna negate it, or you're just gonna act like it doesn't exist, or you're just gonna say some cliche thing or whatever. Like you don't actually care. You know, it sucks. Um, and then that's what my grandmother, but like with my mom and my stepdad, the thing that sucks, if they try to talk to me about like my problems, either like they'll flip it or they'll act like it like never happened. And like that's just worse than just like not talking about it at all, like acting like it never happened. Like that just makes me, it just hurts, like, you know, it just makes you feel like what you've done or what you've been through just doesn't matter. And yeah, I think I'm crying. I think I'm crying. I think I am crying. Yeah, I'm crying. But like, yeah, it's just, you know, because I don't know, I care so much about people and everyone like that. So like for me, like it used to just hurt when like, you know, I'll make sacrifices or I'll go through these things that I don't really want to go through or whatever. I'm treated in ways that I don't really feel like I should be treated. And but I don't really get the love or appreciation I deserve. And you know, on top of that, what you've been through, you know, what happened or what we said to you or how we treated you or whatever doesn't matter. Like I remember one time, like not to blow anyone up, but you know, I think it is important, you know, because we all have these issues with our, like not all of us, but a lot of us have these issues with our family. And I think it's important for us to be transparent. But like I remember like what was it, like 2020? Yeah, man. I was like, oh yeah, I was having like a hard time. Like I remember like I was not feeling well, and like I was having like major anxiety and all these different things. And I went to and I was, oh yeah, I was still injured. My arm was still injured. Both my arms were still injured, and I didn't feel well either. I went to work, Walmart, and like I failed the COVID test, so I had to end up going home, and I just didn't feel good. And I went home, and I remember like my mom like was like, "Why are you home?" And I said, I may have like COVID or something." And then she was like freaking out, and then she was like, you know, like don't, like you better not get us sick and all these different things. And she was like freaking out and getting like emotional and all these different things and like mad at me and everything like that. And I'm like, mother, like please, I just don't feel good, can I just be to myself for a little bit, please? And she was just getting frustrated and mad, and I was like, damn, like, you know, like I understand the situation, but like, you know, I don't really feel, but why do I have to get hit with all this negativity? Why can't I just get like, you know, oh, Kamari, are you okay? This, that, like, I hope you feel well. I hope, like, oh, you got COVID? Like, you think you have COVID? Like, all these different things. I don't really get that energy. All I would ever get is hostility, you know? So that's why, like, I feel like people may be kind of confused that, like, I can handle hostility so well that it doesn't phase me. Like, hostility just doesn't phase me. I'm more phased by getting loved because I'm not used to it, you know? I'm really not used to it, you know, because I was never really like able to get that love like that. And whenever I did get that love from my mom, it was temporary. You know, something would either irritate her or whatever. So it was really hard to like kind of get that love. My brother and my sister get that, so I'm so grateful for that. So at least they get to have that. But for me, that's not my story, I guess. So, you know, it's not my story. So obviously I have a different story. So so I just go with it, you know? You know, this is just how my story is supposed to go, I guess. But like yeah, you know, I would get hit with a lot of hostility and all these different things. And, you know, and sometimes like for me, like I'm very like the people in my family don't understand how empathetic I am and how sensitive I am to energy and how well I'm able to read a room. Like I can read a room really good. So like sometimes like I can just like it just makes me so uncomfortable. Like if you're just like being like so like harsh to me, like 1 second and then another second, especially like if someone new comes in the room and now you're acting all like sweet and everything to me. That's like so gross to me, because it seems like you're just trying to like put on a front for someone else, and you're shitting, you're pretty much shitting on me and just like manipulating me. And it's just, I'm able to pick up on all of that. Like I can pick up on all kinds of manipulation and everything like that. So being able to do that stuff is like really awkward. Sometimes I wish that like I can just like not pick up on that stuff, so I can just, oh yeah, whatever, just go with it. But like, no, I can pick up on all that shit. It just makes me so uncomfortable. It makes the situation worse. But yeah, like a lot of times I wish that like I was able to be appreciated instead of just always getting hit with like hostility and negativity and all these different kinds of things. But at the same time, I'm grateful for it, because I understand where it comes from. And I know my mom had a lot on her plate, and she had a lot on her plate. And also, it helps me become stronger. So, like, it is what it is. And I'm able to renew my relationship with my mom. So, it's completely fine. And I like that my mom's honest with, like, her relationship with me and everything like that. So, that's great, because a lot of parents, they act like, no, like, oh, I was like the greatest mom ever, like the greatest dad ever, blah blah blah. And yeah, it's just sad, because I had a lot of friends who had parents like that. So like for me, I like that my mom takes responsibility. Oh, and also that's how my like my dad's side of the family is. They just like cover everything up. But like, I like that we're more transparent. Like my mom and I, like, we're transparent. She takes responsibility for her actions. It's a really awesome thing. And yeah, but I didn't really get that kind of love. But at the same time, my mom didn't really, get that kind of love as well. So, um, she was able to be better to my brother, because she realized like how she was treating me wasn't right, and how I was treating her wasn't right. So that's why she's able to have a better relationship with my brother. So that's awesome. So I'm glad that she gets to have my brother to be able to renew, to be able to have that chance to he's freaking out because my cousin's here, because he's scared of me. He's scared of me, even though I'm so good to him, I'm so nice to him, and I give him treats and I rub him and I show love to him. He's scared of me. I don't know. It's like, I've never seen a dog so afraid in my life. Like, he's so afraid of everything. Like, I've never seen a dog like that. I usually be around dogs that just super like fierce. But yeah, these things happen and everything like that. But I feel like it's important for me to kind of to get my emotions out and to say the things I need to say, so like the people who care about me can understand me more, because I've never really been understood. No one really took the time to understand my perspective. No one really took the time to understand the things I like, understand the things I don't like, understand what I want to do in my life. I never really had these things in my life. So knowing that I'm coming across people who actually care about me and everything like that, I really want to be around people who actually want to know who I am and actually want to be there for me and appreciate me and check up on me and everything like this, all these kind of things. I always had to be strong for everybody, but I never really had anyone to be strong for me. I never really had anyone to, really check up on me or anything like that. I always had to check up on everyone else. And a lot of the things I go through, it never happened. So either people don't care, or I just end up forgetting it because there's no reason to hold on to it. So I just let it out, you know. And going with that too, like, I have so much rage in me, so much rage. That's something that I want to say too, like, so much anger and like resentment and stuff like that. When I was like in middle school, I used to just get in fights. I used to just fuck people up for no reason. I used to do that. I used to do a lot of dumb shit, because I had a lot of like, I didn't care about school. I didn't give a fuck about any of that shit, because like, when I was home, I was just like, it was just fucking miserable. you know I remember with my grandfather, like my mom's father, when I was young, he wanted me to be like a grown up, and he would get upset at me if I like act childish, and I'm like 12 years old. like, he would get upset at me acting childish and everything like that when I'm like 12. You feel me? But it is what it is, and we used to do things to bond and make me seem like a man and everything like that. Um, and yeah, it was a lot. I didn't really get to be, a kid like that, but it's really, uh, cause like I guess like the adults were like a lot like immature and everything like that, especially the men. So yeah, I remember my dad. I guess I'll talk about some memories I had with my dad when I was younger. I was like a toddler. When I was with my dad, I remember my dad used to just be too busy for me. He would either just be talking to women all the time, and I'll just be there. He would like promise me all these different things, promise to spend time with me, promise me to do this, promise me to do that, and just never do anything. He would just be talking to women all the time, And then eventually, I just was like, all right, this man's unreliable. I'm very independent. Like, I'm a very shallow, not shallow. I'm a very cold person. Once you're useless to me, I just abandon you. I was doing that as a child. Once I feel like you're just useless to me, I just abandon you, and it's kind of fucked. I feel like my relationship with my dad's like neutral because I feel like it's just a neutral thing. He wanted to focus on his life, and I want to focus on not being having someone in my life who's not reliable. When I was young, so I was like, whatever, I'm able to like detach from things that aren't good for me, like at a young age, and it's like I used to like get on myself first because I used to feel so heartless, because I could just detach from anything that's just not good for me, But I feel like for me, now that I realize it, it's just if there's no love, if I feel like there's no love in it, I just don't care anymore. That's what it is. I used to wonder what is it, but if there's no love in it, then why am I even in it? But he taught me some things. He taught me how to fight, and I think he taught me how to catch like a football. And yeah, he used to cut my hair and like you spend time sometimes, but like yeah, love my dad, but like I never really, not really. He has his own life he was focused on, and that was completely fine to me. I know like the people in my life made a big deal out of it, but like for me, I'm just like, it is what it is. It's life. You go with it. Like it is what it is. I still have my mom and all these other people around me, so it is what it is. It's fine. You know, that's just how I was. But yeah, I don't know. Like for me, I guess for me, my perspective on life, how I can say how I dealt with like the first 25 years of my life is just that like whatever happens, you just know you're gonna live through it, and you just go through it, and you just keep going. You just keep going. I never just stop. There's so many people I be around. You just like miserable or depressed or sad or feel like lost and all these different things, and they haven't went through like as much as I went through. And then because the way I carry myself and how goofy I am and how nice I am and everything like that, they think I'm like really soft, or they think I haven't been through anything. But I just don't let shit affect me. Like I'm just not gonna let anything affect me. People think I'm like a pushover or whatever, but like really I'm not really a pushover. I can see the weakness in you. I can see it in your face. I can see it in your eyes. I can see it in the way your hands, your body, your feet, your legs. I can see it. I can feel it in the energy. I can smell it on you. All of it. I can smell weakness. I can smell it. So if someone's really weak, I'm just not gonna lie. You're not supposed to like antagonize the weak. You're not supposed to antagonize anybody, unless they're messing with you. But yeah, I don't want to prove myself to people. I don't care enough to prove myself to anybody, why? Why do I need to prove myself to you? You should prove yourself to me, the fuck. Why the fuck I need to prove myself to you? You're the one who's acting all weird and not acting right. You need to prove yourself to me because your energy is not right. But yeah, man, like a lot of people underestimate me, and they are not doing anything right in their lives. But it's so interesting. But for me, I just don't let anything get the best of me. I don't let anything control me. I don't believe in letting anything control me. And, I don't want anything to, I don't know, like, I just, I don't know, I'm just enjoying the experience of life, man. I just really am. And life isn't always going to be comfortable. It's not always going to be how you want it to be. But, you just go through it and you just appreciate what you go through and appreciate the experience and just make the most out of it. Learn from things that you don't like, learn from being uncomfortable and just go through it, Like, I've been through a lot of uncomfortable things these past few years. And now I'm going into a completely different freaking phase of my life that I didn't even know I was even going to do. So, yeah, it's, that's how life is. You just go with it and you just enjoy it. Um, you can't always just dwell on the negativity and all these different things. You gotta just, make the most out of it. So, like, throwing your life away because your father's not in your life is stupid. Throwing your life away because your mom's not treating you right is stupid. Throwing your life away because you're not being treated fairly is stupid. It's just, at the end of the day, you gotta live for yourself, man. You're here for yourself. You gotta live for yourself. You gotta appreciate yourself. You gotta love yourself. And you gotta want the best for yourself. You feel me? Like, you can't just always seek validation from others. You gotta want validation from yourself. That's something I realized. A lot of people in my family, they love me, but they don't know me. Yeah, I used to say that. I used to be like, bro, none of y'all really know me. Like you don't understand me. You don't really know me, and people, they would be like confused. Like, no, you really don't know me. Like, you really don't, because you don't take the time to, or you don't want to, or whatever. But like, you don't actually know how I am as a person. And when I become like suicidal or whatever, people are like, whoa, what's going on? Why this, that? Because you don't really know me. Like I'm just surrounded by people who don't know me. And we all love each other and everything like that. But when you're just surrounded by people who just don't know you and don't soothe you in the ways you need to be soothed, or address what needs to be addressed, and they only just focus on like the body of you and not really like the soul essence of you or your own unique perspective, it sucks, man, because then you're the only one that's able to focus on that perspective. It's lonely. You don't have anyone else to understand that aspect of you, and you don't have anyone to talk to about these things. So it's a very depressing thing. But I was always able to just smile through it and just be able to just handle it. That's something too. I used to be in trouble a lot because I used to smile through pain. So I can smile through pain. I used to like smile through uncomfortable situations and pain and stuff like that. And I used to get in trouble because when I would get in trouble, I'll just smile. And I used to get in trouble because I used to piss people off because I used to make it seem like I was just like, fucking, like I was mocking them. When in reality I wasn't. I was just uncomfortable, and I was smiling because I was uncomfortable. That just make it worse. But yeah, it's life. And as I talk to a lot of people these days, yeah, they really don't think I went through anything. Like, they don't think I went through anything. Like, well, like my cousin, like he got mad at me because like I was texting his sister and kept giving her advice, and so apparently she didn't like me sending her paragraphs of advice. And he got mad at me. He said, don't like fucking like send her paragraphs or message her any ever again or whatever. And he said, like, she's going through real shit. Like, you don't even know. Like, dude, I was homeless. Like, if our grandmother didn't take me in, I don't know where the fuck I would be living at. Like, I've been through a lot of things, man. Even got arrested. Like, been through a lot, but no one gives a fuck. So I just had to figure it out myself. If no one else is gonna care, it's my life. I have to take accountability and responsibility for my own life. So if that's something I know, it's like being surrounded by people who are not reliable. It's like, what, you're gonna put your life in the hands of put your fate in the hands of these people who aren't taking responsibility for their own lives and don't really care about your life. They only care about the idea of your life. No, I'd rather just take responsibility for my own life and trust in what I want to do for my life and make the right choices. And they keep trying to make me do this choice or that choice or this choice or that choice. Like, no, man, I see how you're killing yourself. And I see how you don't even understand what the fuck. You don't even understand like a fraction of what's going on in my life, right? And you don't care. Whenever I say these things or talk about my life, man, whenever I talk about my life to like my like grandma, like my cousins and stuff like that, like it'll just go over their head. Oh, that's just, oh no, that's not real. Oh no, that never happened. Oh, you shouldn't do that. Or no, this, that, or oh, that's bad. Or like, bro, you're acting like you never did anything negative in your life, or you never experienced anything negative in your life. Instead of always trying to fucking judge people, you should just fucking listen. You know, maybe that kid, your grandchild, just needs you to fucking listen, you know? But like for me, I always had to be my own mentor. I had to be my own parent. I had to be my own therapist. I had to be my own motivation. I had to be all that shit for myself, you know? Everything I, like my whole childhood, I pretty much just did everything by myself. Besides shelter, I just couldn't take care of myself shelter-wise, but everything else, I was able to just do by myself and just figure it out by myself, you know? So I didn't have no therapist. Every therapist I had, that just didn't click. Family, talking about my shit with family, just either it would just turn into them talking about their problems, or it would or they'll just act like it never happened, or they'll just ignore it. That was friends, same thing. I was always just a therapist for people when we talk. I would just be talking about their shit, and that would just make me feel better, just being able to help them. But for me, I had to figure out my own problems, you know? For me, I would just talk to myself about things and, you know, listen to music for perspective and be on the internet for perspective. But like for me, I didn't have no guidance. I didn't have no mentor. I didn't have no parental figure to guide me in the right direction. My mom, it was just more so drawn to like security and shelter and stuff like that, and just like finances and stuff like that. But when it came to like real life shit, like I had to figure that shit out on my own. And my family, they're very mum. They don't like to talk about their own issues and stuff like that. I don't mind just talking about and getting it out because I know the importance of it. But yeah, man. You know, I had to do all that shit myself. So like, I don't really have remorse for people who like go through like the bare minimum, and I feel like I went through the bare minimum, man. There's kids out there starving. There's kids out there whose parents died. Their villages died from like war and fucking natural disasters and all these different things. Like there's people out here really starving out here. Like they don't have food, they don't have water. There's people out here just like fucking massacring each other and all these different things. And you guys are crying over like little ass things. Oh, my dad's not in my life. Bro, that little ass kid had no family at all. They don't even know anything. Their whole village was wiped out in front of them. But man, there's so much fucked up shit going on here, man. You guys are crying over the dumbest shit. Ever since I was younger, bro, I always knew that. Like ever since I was like a teenager, I always knew it. I always like, it's like, man, like I know what I'm going through is pretty fucked up, but it's not as bad as what a lot of other people are going through. It could be way worse. You know, my situation could have been way worse, or I could have been in a completely different scenario. There's some scenarios that I would not want to be in, or I'd be in the scenario I'm in right now, than be in the scenario that some of these fucking people are in, man. I keep seeing it popping up on my phone, all these like things that's going on with people. It's really sad, you know. And I've always been perspective based. I always like to listen to other people's perspectives and understand what they go through in life, because it makes me feel better, because it makes me understand life more. And you know, I like my circumstances. I appreciate my circumstances because they're my circumstances because I can handle them, you know. But man, there's a lot of shit out there that you do not want to go through, and you're over here like throwing your life away because you're not doing, because you don't have the courage to take accountability for your life and just go through the pain, man. You know, there's people that wish that they could have your circumstances and trade cards with you, man. Seriously, people dying out here, people being tortured, people being raped, people being fucking, man, so much shit is going on in this world, and y'all crying over the bare minimum, man. I don't respect that. I don't. I think it's gross. I really do. I think it's sad. I don't like cowards. I think you should take responsibility for your life and figure it out. If you want to live, find a way to live. You want to die, find a way to die. It's your life, you know? You have the choice, you know? Everyone has their own burdens and their own stories and their own things, man. Man, I remember when I was like homeless for that week, man, I was freezing in the cold, bro. I don't know how I didn't die. One, I didn't sleep. I couldn't sleep because I didn't want to sleep on the street. And man, I just really don't know how I didn't die. It was cold as fuck. I'm glad it didn't snow because it was like, because well, I left on the day after my birthday, so like November 27th. Yeah. No. I stayed at the apartment for like 2 extra days. So I think it was like the 29th I left. And then yeah, in December, so like for a week, just walking the streets. And yeah, it was just very uncomfortable. But you know, just go through it, you know? Just go through it. It was freeing because I didn't have anyone's energy interfering with my energy. It was freeing. It was actually a pretty freeing experience. It's uncomfortable, very uncomfortable, but it was freeing, you know? I got to be by myself, you know? And I got to see a side of life, you know, how it's like to be homeless and all these different things. And it wasn't a great experience. But it's very uncomfortable, but you know, I was never sad through it all. I was never crying. I was never like, oh, nothing's going to work. Throughout the whole time, I was just networking. I always had my phone on. I would just be networking, trying to find opportunities, and just keeping my spirits up. I remember I used to talk to Molly a lot during that time, and just check up on her, see what she's doing in her life. I never talked about like really what she didn't even know I was homeless when I was talking to her because I never really talked about tell her these things. I was just talking to her because just talking to someone just made me feel good. Just being able to just talk to people, but yeah, I don't like dumping my problems on people. I don't think you should do that. But you know, if they want to help, sure, why not? But I don't like dumping my problems on people. Um, I know my family likes to do that. I don't like to do that. But yeah, I was just a lot of people helped me during that time. A lot of like strangers and stuff like that. It was really nice. But you know, it was a very interesting time. It really was. You know, just walking around. And then when my uncle took me in for like a week, man, he didn't treat me right. And like he didn't really treat me like I was family. He treated me like a stranger. And he had me like work on his basement. Suddenly now when I'm coming in the house, he wants to work on his basement. He wasn't working on it before, but suddenly now he wants to work on it. So he like treated me like an employee. I couldn't go upstairs. I couldn't go in the kitchen. I couldn't do anything. You know, he treated me like a slave or like like I'm not even family when I'm his fucking nephew. And he had me sleep on like down there. Like I remember, man, when I got there, I had to walk all the way to his house from the Chamonix Mall. I had to walk all the way to Philly to his house. And what the fuck? Oh yeah, and then when I finally got there, I took a shower. And then he's like, okay, in the morning, you know, you gotta help, you gotta work on the basement. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine, I don't mind. And it was like really early in the morning. And then he was talking to me. Then he got drunk, and then he was drunk talking to me all night. And I'm like, now I didn't really get much time to sleep because I had to listen to him drunk talk to me all night about all these different things. And I only got like 2 hours sleep. And then I had to wake up, and then I had to do this work. And man, they didn't treat me right at all. It was not a fun experience. That shit was hell. That shit was hell. That shit was not fun. It was not fun at all. Oh yeah, but uncle, man, I want you to know it's okay. I took a lot of your weed. I did, so it's fine. We're even because I smoked a lot of your weed because I was like stressed the fuck out. So I needed weed. So I smoked this weed. So we're even. So you know, I smoked some weed. So yeah, we're good. Don't worry. I know it makes you because my uncle has like this idea. He's like wants me to be like as like this. He wants me to just do well, but he does everything to the fucking extreme and he doesn't put his heart in it. So then I can read him. I already know. But like yeah, he just takes things over the fucking top because it's like a lesson to him. But like he's doing it too much. Oh my gosh, you're gonna go upstairs. Gonna do anything. Oh man, it's funny looking back on things, you know. But I never let anything affect me, you know. And that's something that like my family kind of got like annoyed with because they'd be like, why is he just like, why is he like not affected? Like, why is he just like not stressed out? Like, because I don't let my stress out. Like, stressing kills you, man. I'm not gonna fucking stress out. You know, I'm this moment's gonna pass. It's gonna be a moment that passed. Like it doesn't exist anymore, right? All those moments passed, right? You know, it's just gonna pass. It's gonna be replaced with something new. So I'm just a very, I just see things for how it is, and I just know that like you know the bad times are always gonna last, you know, and they can strengthen you. So I don't really, yeah, and I know sometimes like I'll just like literally just say thank you for like the situation that you put me in sometimes. And I feel like some people are just kind of confused when I say stuff like that because they're like, what are you talking about? Like, dude, like, isn't this like uncomfortable for you? But yeah, it is uncomfortable, but at the same time, it's helping me grow. So yeah, not saying I want to go through it, but you know, I'm already going through it. So fuck it, you know, I might as well, it's just helping me grow. So whatever, but you know, it would be nice to not have as much like super uncomfortable situations in the future, you know and I have more love. Like I really feel good when I have love behind me, but I never really had love behind me. Oh yeah, I remember I told my uncle, I said like I felt like I tried to open up. Like I struggle to open up because I always feel like if I open up it's just not you're just gonna negate it or whatever. But I remember like I really felt the pain and I was like, man, I felt like you guys don't really like love me because like the way how he was treating me and then he was just like confused by it. But and he was like, "Oh, don't say that," or like it was something like that. But like, yeah, I know there's love at the end of the day, but it's like sometimes it's like, damn, man, like put me through a lot. You guys don't even realize it, but yeah, I think a lot of it's unnecessary. But you know, it is what it is. Um, I don't know. Family had put me through a lot, but you know, family. But with the family that I'm creating, I don't want to go through this stuff no more. I don't, and I want love, please. I remember my cousin when we were driving with my grandma, like after we switched turns and I went in the driver's seat, I like that I was like, yeah, like you did good, and I like tried to dap him up and give him some love, but he wouldn't give me love. I think he probably felt like I was trying to like belittle him. Maybe I don't know. I don't do that kind of stuff. I don't think like that. I just wanted some love from my cousin, but I couldn't get the love. I was getting angry a little bit because I'm like, I'm doing all this fucking work. I'm doing this shit that I'm not even supposed to be doing. I wasn't even supposed to even be going on this trip. I'm driving. I'm doing all these things. And I can't even get some love. You guys be hogging all the fucking love, bro. My cousin over there won't give me love. I just want some love. I can't get love. I just want some love. I operate off love. Like all this other shit is secondary. Like everything. I just want love. I just want to be loved. I'm meant to be loved. Like everything else is just like secondary. Like even like I said like before, like, you know, if someone like feels bad for like how they treat me or whatever and they just buy me shit, like I don't buy me shit. Apologize. Give me some love. Don't hug me. I don't like when people touch me and hug me when I can tell that you're just trying to manipulate me. It makes me feel like it angers me. So that's why I like to say it back because it angers me. And yeah. But man, like real love. I just want some real love. If you can't tell, I want to be hugged. I wish I could be hugged. Someone just tell me just like how much they care about me and just love me and just appreciate me and just you did a good job, Kamari, throughout your life. You know, you've been through a lot. You know, you deserve love. You deserve to know that you're doing good. You're on the right track. No one talks to me about my music. They always try to like act like it doesn't exist. Um, yeah, every little fucking oh my gosh. Oh, my mom turned me into a damn warrior. Every little mistake I'll make, man, I'll get hell for it. That shit made me a warrior, bro. Cause I'm just not phased by it anymore. I'm grateful for my mom. My mom made me tough as hell. Oh my gosh. It's like war if you make a mistake. But, yeah, I just really want to be loved, man. Seriously. Since I was little, I just always wanted to be loved correctly. But, I feel like I finally get that, you know? And There's times I thought I'd never have that. That's why I used to like be in relationships where like I wasn't really treated right, because that's how my family treated me. They didn't really give me the love I wanted, or they didn't really treat me right. They would just treat me like a fucking like they just treat me like a damn animal or some shit. Like they'll just treat me like I don't have feelings or emotions or perspective, and just ignore everything I'm going through and just amplify it, you know? It really sucks, you know? And from talking about this stuff, I can tell I'm still not healed because I feel emotional. I still feel very emotional. And there's still a lot of things that I'm not saying. But I'm getting there. I'll get there slowly. You know, it kind of does suck that, like, I guess it's like an equal exchange, but it does kind of suck that, like, certain aspects of myself is like shut off because of the things I had to go through from other people. But it is what it is. It's completely fine. It gave me strength in return, and I can overcome these things in the future. But yeah, um I'm someone who just really I really care about people, so like I do a lot for people. Like even being here with my grandma, like it makes me sad sometimes. I've been here for like a year, for a little over a year, and I wasn't even supposed to be here. I wasn't even trying to come here. I wanted to focus on going on my career, but I came here because I needed to get myself right. And also I came here so that my grandma could be around me and I haven't been around here in a long time, so she can have love and for me and everything like that. And my cousins, weren't really here, but like, I get to be around my cousins. Um and my cousins, they all left by the time I got here, and my cousin, the girl, just left. She left as soon as I pretty much got there. So my grandma was all alone. They just left her alone, and that's fine. They need to focus on their own life. But I came here, and it was just my grandma, and I'm helping her out. But like my grandma, in the beginning, she wasn't really treating me right. But slowly, she started treating me better. But it's been fluctuating. But like, she often doesn't understand my own perspective, and she tries to like force me to do these things, and she's always trying to control me and all these different kinds of things, and manipulate me and all these different kinds of things. And it's so interesting, and she often ignores my perspective, but she doesn't realize that, like, and even my cousins, like my cousin, like the girl, act like, oh, like calling me a bomb and all these different things for being here, but I'm just trying to focus on getting my career right and everything like that, and getting my mindset right so that I'm good for my career, and I get to be here for my grandma and spend time with her. And I was always sacrificing so much in the beginning to make sure that my grandma is good, and it was just me and her for a year, and I was always looking at her and everything like that. But when my cousin moved in with us, it went the other way. It went down south. Like she started like treating me poorly, and just talking to me in like all these different disrespectful ways. And it really bothers me because like I'm a very respectful person. I'm not a nice person. I'm just respectful. So like for me, I can see everything. I can see the situation. So for me, I'm not able to show my true colors like that because I know they can't handle it. From the stories I talk about with my things I've been through, and like how I am with my family, everything like that, they can't handle it, and they're very fearful over here. So for me, I don't show them my true colors. So something that bothers me is when I try to like talk about like how I actually am, and they just negate it, and then they try to manipulate me and treat me any kind of way, and just put me down and treat me like shit. Like, dude, I thought we were family. And like my cousin just treated me any kind of way. Like it just and then my grandma feeling entitled to my help when, dude, I wasn't even supposed to even be here in the first place. But I came here, to be in your life. And I know, like, yeah, I came from being on the street, but in reality, I was really trying to get my career going. But I feel like I came here really for both of us, for you to be able to have me and be able to be exposed to me and be able to spend time with me before I begin my career, and for me to be able to be here and have a place to be able to grow, and to be able to have that perspective exchange with everyone else. But when I wasn't started being treated unfairly when my cousin came here, that's when I just started like regressing. Because, like, man, I don't like anyone fucking treating me any kind of way. I find it very disrespectful. Really disrespectful. I don't care if you're my mom. I don't care if you're my dad. I don't care who you are. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. You could be a fucking deity. No one should treat me any kind of way. I don't deserve it. Because all I do is just love people and treat people with kindness and respect. Why the fuck should I be treated harshly all the fucking time? How is that fucking fair, you know? All I want to do is just live my life and just go after my goals and my dreams and everything like that, but everyone keeps trying to fucking hold me back. It's fucking annoying. How would you feel if I just was like, you know what, fuck this family shit, you know? Let me just give you your own medicine. You would not like it, man. You guys cannot handle my intensity. It's very fucked up, you know? Seriously, it really is. Like, it could get really dark because I'm very skeptical of humans because I just see the way how they live their lives. And then the arbiter version of me just start clicking and I'm just like, bro, just like, what's going on with humanity? Why are they doing this? Do they even deserve any of this shit? Like, seriously, like, because, like, I'm half human. I am half human, half arbiter. You know, whether you believe it or not, it's facts. So, like, but my family doesn't understand that aspect of me, like the arbiter aspect of me. They don't really understand much about me. They just know I'm just Kamari and I'm just this guy that they're family with. Because they don't try to take time to understand me. But yeah, I don't like anyone just treating me kind of way. I find it to be extremely disrespectful and like so many different aspects, especially when I'm just trying to be there for others and be kind, like, and just listening to them just like contradict themselves and just like my grandma talks about, oh, you shouldn't take people for granted. Oh, she's like a very religious woman and all these different things, but she contradicts herself all the time and she constantly like contradicts herself and with me, and then she only sees these things when it matters, but like when it comes to like her self, she starts like bending the rules and shit like that. It's very interesting. It's very fascinating because I'm not this kind of that kind of person. So it's being exposed to these kind of energies is just education for me, you know. But you know, it is what it is, you know. You know, I honestly don't expect for humans to understand me or to even appreciate me. If they do, appreciate it. If they don't, it's okay. You know, I just go with it, and yeah, that's why for me, I don't really care if people hate me. I don't care if people really love me. You know, it is what it is. You know, I just I'm me regardless if people hate me, if people love me, if people show me love or whatever. You know, I do well love to have love in life and stuff like that, especially by those that are closest to me. But you know, if people decide to hate me, it doesn't faze me. You know, all that hostility and shit doesn't really faze me. All that discrimination doesn't really faze me. All that like negativity. I don't like being in negativity too much because that's not my energy. I like to be in positivity, but like it is what it is, you know. It is what it is. You know, I just go through it. But yeah, you know, it would be nice to have some love. You know, I give so much love to people. I show so much love. And yeah, it would be nice to have, you know, allies around me that are loyal and that take the time to understand me and, you know, give me the love that I deserve to have and everything like that instead of just treating me like shit, you know? Like my grandma doesn't even trust me to even be in this house by myself. Like I remember when they went to like, oh yeah, we went to like somewhere like last March. And I didn't want to go at first, but she's like, okay, you gotta like go to like your other grandma's house or whatever or something. She didn't want me to stay here, but she doesn't mind like my cousin stays here. And he like trashed the house. I would never do that. I'm a very trusting person, but no one takes the time to understand me. No one takes the time to trust me or whatever, and they just think I'm just like some like immature child. They just project themselves upon me. It's just very interesting. Um, yeah. Even like with my other cousin, like he was talking about like the fashion world and like he was talking about how like there's sharks and everything like that, you know, and how like they'll like eat you alive and everything like that. He was talking about how he's like afraid of like my well being and everything like that, like scared, like nervous for my well being because how kind I am and how like goofy and like cutesy I am, but like, dude, I don't fear humans. All that shit's going, all that shit's done. All that shit's gonna be destroyed. It's just facts, you know? Because you're not supposed to be here oppressing people. I don't fear that kind of stuff. You know, and I'm not here for that stuff. Like, I'm here to have fun. I'm not doing anything that's going to oppress me. That's not how you're supposed to live life. You know, be in line with your soul and be in line with who you're supposed to be, so that you don't end up being in situations where you're sacrificing love and you're sacrificing yourself to fit in with others. You're just going to be oppressed. You'll be oppressed every time. But yeah, you know, that's some stuff that I say about me. Negativity, all these different kinds of things. You know, it's part of life. I want out of it. And I want some love. It would be nice to have some love and appreciation and protection and all these different things. And man, don't really like having, like, it makes me uncomfortable that my life is entrusted with people who like aren't really taking care of themselves and aren't really like doing the right thing and don't take accountability for themselves or don't live life right. Because I pick up on that energy, and I like my life to be trusted with people who I feel comfortable with. Like, so I kind of miss being with my mom, because I trust my mom. Being with people who aren't living right is just ugh. And all this negativity, man, it's just, whoa, so much negativity. But anyway, you know, it is what it is. You know, it's their fate. I can't tell people how to live their lives. But anyway, this is something I wanted to talk about. You know, just get some of this out for both of our sakes, for my sake, and for some people who kind of want to understand a little bit more about me. So yeah, hopefully someone helps me be able to get some of my story out a little bit, so I can heal a little better. But yeah, love you all. Take care. Be happy, healthy, abundant, blessed, safe, all these things. Take care. Love you all. Bye.